It's such an honor to be here. Thank you, Carole and Spiritmindbody, Susan, Robin, Terry, Dan, for hosting this space. I really appreciate it. So today is super special because you didn't know this, but I just came out of my broom closet last week. This is my first public presentation as an out psychic. I've been walking around psychic all the time, but I finally just said, you know what? My guides told me, like, you just need to come out. And of course, in this day and age, you come out on Instagram and Facebook, otherwise it doesn't count. Just so you know, we're all like new modern people. So yes, I just posted it last week. So thank you all for being here. Just a little bit about me. I guess it's pretty long, but just some highlights that's pertinent to the class today. So I grew up in Indonesia. I was born and grew up in Java until I was 20. And there the society is very accepting of the metaphysical stuff, right? They walk next to a big tree or a boulder and they said, hello, land spirit. We live in a house with a house spirit. Dave is in there. Yes, we know that. So I was just going through life like a normal kid. And then I moved here, but I always knew I wanted to leave Indonesia. Many things on the 3D level, it was discriminatory against women and also Chinese minority. So I knew I wanted to get out, right? So I started looking for opportunity to leave the country, student exchange program and whatnot. So I finally left when I was 20, and I got here. And I was in a dorm in a beautiful liberal arts college in Wisconsin, Mahloy. And one of the first weeks or so, we were watching TV with the dorm mates. And this was 1994. And at the end of the TV programming, there was 1-800-Miss Cleo, call psychic, right? Everybody started bad-mouthing the psychic, and I was like, okay, I guess I won't be saying anything. So then I just let it be. I just never really talk, never really think about it. Career-wise, moving on, blah, blah, blah. I just sort of flow, just go with whatever it is, but I never really acknowledge and really connect the way I used to when I was little, right? Because we don't do the walking by land spirit saying hi, the tree spirits saying hi. I just didn't do that. Fast forward to 2017. So I had a catering company and I had acquired 2 business partners and we were doing just fine. I started the company in 2002, so it was my baby. 2017, one of the business partners starting to be passive aggressive. And I was just like, what is going on? So that happened 2017 through 2019. And so one business partner did that. My reaction was reactionary to her. And then she left, right? She's like, I'm going to go back to doing restaurant. I'm like, okay, that's fine. 2018 was fine. It's just me and my other business partner. 2019, he started acting the same way. And I was just like, is it me? I was just like, is it me? And so I started the journey with him, and the reaction to him was very different. I just became so meek. Like I was like, there's something that's triggering, and I wanted to say, blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, okay, and I went home and I complained to my husband, and he's like, well, what did you say? I said, well, I wanted to say blah, blah, blah. But I was like, oh, okay. And I could tell like my body was just, myself was just like, get me out of here, So that's sort of how I came back to like this spiritual awakening, right? Which is just reconnecting to myself. But then when I started looking in, I realized I didn't hear anything. I couldn't hear my intuition. I didn't recognize myself. And I was like, this is super weird. Okay, so I'm pretty left brain. So this is really weird. I talk to myself like that a lot. But, so anyway, so I decided I'm all about balancing the 3D and the 5D, right? So I talked to my husband and said, listen, this workplace is terrible. I don't want to go to work. I'm just miserable. And so I said, but let's figure out the finances. My name is still on the lease for 4 years. It means if that company fail, we're on a hook for $50,000 every year. So we look at our finances, and my husband said, we'll be okay. And he said, I know you enough. If he bailed out, something happened, you're gonna do something else by yourself. So he's like, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. We'll be fine. I'm like, okay, so that's good. And I was talking with the business partner. I said, why don't you just buy me out? And he's like, yeah, I was just thinking about that. And so I was like, okay, let's just, buy me out. And this was November 2019. We were kind of agreeing to that. And but I was still like, but this is my baby. I grew this company and it's still my baby. So early December, I got a text from a client who had been with me since the beginning. So like 18-year client, I would do at least holiday party for her. She texted me out of the blue and she said, hey, I've been looking for a private chef, meaning cooking for one family. Okay. For 6 months, do you know anyone? Well, a chef that I used to work for emailed me in October and said, hey, a client of mine just sold his companies for millions and he's looking for a private chef. Are you interested? And I was like, no, not me. Hi, come on in. And I was just like, nope, that's not me. So this December thing, I was chopping away because we're getting ready for a busy holiday season. And I was chopping away hours later. I'm like, I think the universe is telling me something. I've been cooking professionally for 21 years and nobody ever asked me about private chefing. And here I am, within 2 months, I got 2 options. So I texted the client back and I said, well, what about me? And she's like, I was hoping you were going to say that. I was like, cool. And I said, well, let's wait until after the holiday season. I didn't do that. I was just like, let's meet this weekend. So I did. And I did research like how much private chef would make. And I just put the top line and I met with her and her husband. And they're like, sure. So okay. So then I told my business partner, I said, hey, I'm leaving in January, because I got this opportunity. And he's just like, okay. And then COVID happened, right? So COVID happened. And so of course, I didn't need to go to the kitchen because, now I have this private chef thing. And so that's kind of the journey within for me, was just trying to figure out why couldn't I feel this intuition? I was starting to feel better about myself, of being able to like stand up for myself and whatnot. But I was like, I remember I used to be pretty psychic. Where was that? Where was that? And so Seo Choi, the one that I met Carole through, she is a Korean shaman. She now moved to Atlanta. And so she helped me a lot with like reading and things like that, connected me with other psychics. So I would get a reading and just kind of get some affirmations and stuff. But I was like, okay, I need something else, I need something else to just like reactivate this thing. And so one of the energy light workers that Seo worked with, or at that time, she offered DNA activation. So it's a spiritual DNA activation. And I was like, that looks interesting. This is, by the way, become my pattern. I was like, oh, that looks interesting. It piqued my attention. I went on the website. I was like, oh, that's expensive. I'm not going to do that, right? And then like a year and a half later, she popped in my head. And I look on her website. Of course, the price has changed, has gone up. And I had no hesitation. So I was like, well, I think it's okay. And I just told my husband and said, hey, honey, I'm going to be spending a couple $100 for this. And my husband was like, what is it for? By the way, I already came out to my husband because in 2019, my mom was in hospice for 8 months, 8 weeks in Indonesia. And I went home, and being in my, community and everything, things just came back. And I was just like, okay, my grandma is here. Oh, my dad is here, and I was just like, I knew it was time for her. So when I came back here, it was just like, all of a sudden, it was kind of, empty again. And I was just like, no, I want to go back to how I felt in Java. So anyway, I got this DNA activation, and essentially it's an initiation. And she said, well, what do you want to accomplish? And I said, I want to reconnect to my intuition. I want to be able to hear it. Well, lo and behold, Archangel Raziel showed up. And she said, so Archangel Raziel said he's here to help you with your intuition. And I was like, Archangel who? Never heard of the guy. And she said, oh, he said to study the Kabbalah tree of life. And I'm like, okay. So I, Google Kabbalah tree of life, and there he is. He's one of the archangel on this second Sephiroth. I still don't know much about Kabbalah tree of life, but having his name, every time I meditate, every time I need to connect with my intuition, I call on him. And that's how I built my relationship. I still did not feel anything, guys. I still did not feel anything. I'm just like, I just trust that you're here. I just trust that you're going to help me connect with my intuition. And over time, months later, then, I was just like, oh, this feels, now I can kind of feel my gut feeling again. It's no longer empty. And I just trust it and I just go with the flow. Okay. So that was January 2022. And Archangel, unbeknownst to me, now looking back, Archangel Raziel is, he just kind of like put breadcrumbs for me. Now he just throw me a loaf of bread. It's like, okay, but breadcrumbs. Somebody posted about human design on Facebook page with Seo. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I got to, let me check on the website. And I went down the rabbit hole, like rabbit hole. I was just like, ooh. I was having so much fun. I was recognizing, oh, this is just the way I am. I have this, the gate of doubt and the gate of confusion. Oh, great. I have this battle like between my brain spheres just go back and forth. So I went into it. I learned about how, how the energy worked within me and blah, blah, blah. 5 months into it, I was just like, I still can't feel my guides, right? So of course, everybody was just like, you need to surrender. You need to surrender. And I went through the stages of surrendering from like, I am surrendering. Tell me what it is. And then I'm like, I'm surrendering, right? Surrendering to like, I am surrendering. Nothing worked. And so I went to do what my teenage self used to do. I just pout. I just said, I'm done. I think I'm giving my brain too much authority in human design speak. I'm like, I'm done. And I used to be psychic without any of these rituals, any of this esoteric stuff. I am done. Quit cold turkey. Except for calling on Archangel Raziel and my active meditation. Meditation to me was just like, I fell asleep and I was like, come on. Until I read Richard Rohr and he talked about active meditation. You walk in the nature, blah, blah, blah. And for me, my active meditation is running, washing dishes, folding laundry, and cooking. So that's apparently how I get it. And so, okay, I'll do the matter of, active meditation because I have to run. Otherwise, I'll bite my husband's head off every day if I don't run. Okay, so that's what I do. And now I know that's also breath work, right? Because you do all this breath work. So anyway, I call it my summer of pouting. I quit everything. I went home to Indonesia the first time since my mom passed away. And I was there, and of course, I was just like, I quit, but I really hope I'm going to feel something in Indonesia. Nothing. And I was like, all right, fine, good, whatever. I come back. And right around Labor Day, I was just washing dishes, and I had this knowing I hear it in my mind's eye. And it says, you need to listen to Human Design podcasts. And I'm like, oh, no. We're done with Human Design, remember? Like 4 months ago, we're done. But I couldn't stop myself. So I went to Human Design, listened to the latest episode. And it's like, no, that's not the one I need to listen to. You need to listen to this woman who was doing Akashic record training. So I scrolled through hundreds of episodes and find that woman and listen to it. And I went to her website in the meantime, right? Because it just intrigued me. It just pulled me. Now I know that's how strong my intuition is. It just pulled me and I couldn't stop. I got to her website and it was a 3 months long program and it started in 5 days. Okay. And I was like, well, I don't know if I can commit 3 months, but I'll book a reading with her. So I emailed her, book a reading. I said, I'm interested in your class, but I don't know if I can commit 3 months. Well, she texted me and called me, I think. We ended up talking on the phone, and she explained that these 3 months is actually just 2 8-hour days on Zoom, and then a month of practicing with the classmate. So, we meet 3 times. So it's a total of six days. I'm like, well, I can do that. So that's how I get into human design. I mean, not human design, into Akashic Record training. It's with Heather Ivany. She's in Canada. And of course, I had to email my husband, I text my husband and say, hey, I'm going to spend like 6 hours on this. And he's just like, is this for your woo stuff? I'm like, yes. And it's like, okay, you know what you're doing. I'm like, all right. Because we have agreement, if you're going to spend a certain amount of money, more than $500, you need to just tell the spouse, where this money go? Like, what are you going to be buying? For him, it's just like, I need the new virtual reality goggles. Which is true. Jillian is a friend of mine. She knows. My house has a prolific Apple tree, all the Apple products. So anyway, this Akashic training went on September, October, November. Almost done with November. And Archangel Raziel popped in my head, and he said, you need to listen to the Psychic Story podcast. I listen to a lot of podcasts because when I cook, I can't read, right? So I was like, okay, Psychic Story podcast. And this time I know, I'm just like, which one do you want me to listen to? And he's like, listen to this one, Ellen Mahloy. She is actually local in Midlothian. And I had never heard of the woman before. I listened to her 15 minutes later. I'm like, I need to get a reading from her. So I looked on her website. There was no reading appointment available. So I emailed her. No response. She followed me on Instagram, and I'm just like, yeah, good luck. I was still in a closet back then. So that was that. 3 weeks later, I was washing dishes and said, you need to connect with Ellen Mahloy. I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't heard from her. So I emailed her, and then I was just like, oh yeah, I need to get a reading from her. And this voice said, you need to get a Reiki from her. And I was like, no. For whatever reason, guys, I had an absolute fear of Reiki. Okay. I was just like, no, it's going to mess my energy system. I've worked so hard for a couple of years now to learn my intuition. No way I'm going to do Reiki. And the voice kept saying, and it said, oh, you want me to learn Reiki from her to heal myself? Okay, it's kind of crazy, but you're the archangel. So I emailed Ellen again, and I said, hey, this is what happened. You have my full permission to tap into me because I don't understand, right? No, I'm still new, and the psychic stuff usually is just like talking to dead people, seeing land spirit, tree spirit, none of these past life things. I kind of know, I mean, I'm Chinese, we believe in reincarnation, but I didn't know anything about the whole deeper aspect of past life healings and stuff like that. So she responded a few hours later, and she said, oh yeah, the reason you're afraid of Reiki is because somebody put a curse, black magic on you. I've asked Archangel Raziel to take care of it. And that's when I was like, Raziel? It clicked on me. I was just like, oh my God, really? Seriously? So anyway, so I ended up taking classes with her. She said, I told him to take care of it, give him a few days. And it took me almost 3 days. I would check in on her website every day to click on buy the Reiki self-healing things video for $50. And I couldn't bring myself to click buy until like 3 days later, when it's like this kink is gone, and I just, took this Reiki. Yeah, it's amazing. So then I saw that she had classes on beginner psychic development and advanced psychic development. But if you can't tell, I'm quite an overachiever. So I signed up for the advanced psychic development. And then I wrote my friends. I was just like, who wants to join? And my friend, who is more, earthy, and she's like, maybe we should start with the beginner. And I was just like, well, maybe we should. Yeah, okay. So I took the beginner psychic development in January 2023. And then the February was, we took the advanced psychic development. So then I was just like, okay, I'm all set. I got my 3 months certification with the Akashic record, and now I can do the psychic thing. I'm ready to like start charging people, open up for business, right? And Archangel Michael, I'm going to backtrack on that in a bit. Archangel Michael came up to me and said, "You're not ready." And I was like, okay. And he said, "You need to study shamanism." And I was like, "Oh, no. Don't misappropriate any culture. I'm not a shaman, blah, 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 blah. It's whole 3D thing." But yeah, I couldn't stop. And I had booked a reading from Sheila Boyd. Thank you. Yeah, Sheila Boyd. She gave me a reading in 2019 when I was with Seo. And so, so I booked a reading with her like 2 weeks later. She's like, "How you doing? Oh my God, your aura look different, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "Yeah, thanks." You know, and then she's like, "Oh, Archangel Michael is here. He said you need to study shamanism." So I was like, well, I guess I do. Okay. So anyway, so I start researching what shamanism is all about, blah, blah, blah. And I do the method that's like the universal shamanism by Michael Harner, because I'm still not comfortable with, saying I'm from this lineage or that lineage. So, anyway, so backtrack to how I met Archangel Michael. So I grew up and went to Catholic school from kindergarten to junior high, and then Protestant school for high school and college in Indonesia. So I know only 3 archangel, right? Michael, Raphael, and Michael. So then I worked with Archangel Raziel for about a year, finished the Akashic training. So I just put it out to the group in Seo's group, and I said, "Hey, I'm just practicing Akashic record. Anybody want to, volunteer for me to practice? Let me know." Well, one of them was this deep healing. And I've heard about cord cutting, and I think I was doing it kind of like willy-nilly because I didn't know how to do cord cutting. So we had to do this cord cutting, and I told the client, I was just like, "Okay, so you ready to do this cord cutting?" I was just like, "Yes." And Archangel Michael showed up. And I was like, "Archangel Michael? Don't I need Archangel Raphael for healing?" And he's just like, "I am here to help her." And I was like, "But aren't you the protector? You're not the healer." This is all in my head, right? I'm arguing with the archangel. And he's like, "I am here to help her." And I was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Oh, just shut up." You're like arguing with the archangel, he said he's going to do it. I was just like, okay. So long story short, this client weeks later told me that he did that with her. So I said, "Hey, this never happened to me before, like having all this archangel showing up. Is it okay? Do I have your permission to ask my teacher about this?" Because Catholic school education, you follow this certain path and you don't deviate, otherwise you're going to have to go to confession. So she's like, "Okay." So I asked my teacher, and I said, "Okay, so I have 2 practice. One of them with Archangel Raziel, and I'm cool with him. And then the other one, Archangel Michael showed up." I'm like, "What is going on?" And the teacher, Heather, was like, "Oh, this is great. You're working with the angels." Well, first rule of thumb, if an archangel show up, you always just have to believe, you just have to trust that it's a good thing. And I was like, I should know that, right? Like, we should know that. So anyway, so that was my funny story with Archangel Michael. So, but as you guys know, Archangel Michael is the protector of light workers. So he is here actually with every one of you. So yeah, so thank you for being here. That's like my long story about it. And now I also teach psychic development and classes with Ellie Mahloy. If you look on the bottom of that page, if you guys have any interest in taking any classes, her classes are very affordable. If you can't afford it, she gave away 25 free seats, no question asked. You just use the coupon when you register, because that's what the angels said they need to do. So that's how I became an angel communicator. I had no idea that I could do it. I had no clue. Most of the time, I just go follow direction. Okay. How much time do I have? Okay, we're doing that. Okay, so I think all of you here already have your own spiritual connection, so I'm not going to waste my time in like telling you guys what to do. But they did tell me today, I have to remind people a few things, because when you go into the Akashic records, it is a very sacred place, right? So you guys know what the Akashic records are. Really quick overview. So the Akasha it's a Tibetan word. The Akasha is literally everything around us. We are walking, talking, breathing human being through energy. So the Akasha is this cosmic soup all around us. I equate it like radio wave, right? So you got radio wave. And if you need to tune in to want to go to your Akashic record, you tune into that dial until you hit a radio station. Okay, that's how you will learn to tune into your Akashic record room. Okay, the Akashic record is also referred to by people as the library of life or the Great Hall of Records. Okay, essentially, any thoughts, any intentions, any actions, good or bad, positive, negative, they all leave an imprint, aka the records in your Akashic record book. Okay, some people see it as your book of life. There's actually a book usually. In reality, there's really just not really, okay, but for our human brain, it's easier when you are being shown a book, right? Or you conjure a book, you being in your Akashic record room. This place, your own Akashic record room contains everything, like I said, everything that you manifest, whether it's thought, in thinking or in intentions, actions, taking responsibility, healing everything through all your past lives. See, now I believe in past lives and I kind of understand what is going on. So all of this, it goes way back past lives, but it also goes way forward in your future and parallel life potentials. Okay, so it's like a cosmic soup. I think I already said that. So how do we get to our Akashic records? Because it has all the wisdoms of the things that you've learned in the past. But as you reincarnate into this planet Earth, you go through the veil of forgetfulness. And so you forgot all these lessons that you learned in the past. So you go into your Akashic records to get with your guides and receive some clarity, some guidance, some healing, whatever else you want to glimpse from your past intentions, past thoughts, past actions, past lessons and wisdom. Anybody has any question about the concept of Akasha and Akashic records? No, very good. Okay. Woo, I'm apparently see, you put a pressure on me, Terry. It's like this better be good. It's a full class. So nobody asks questions. Please don't ask questions so that I look good because it's recorded. Just kidding. Just kidding. So I have put together a little thing, brochure information there. So we're just going to go through how the process. So Akashic record, when you go into your library of life, right? So be quiet, treat it with a little reverence, right? Because it is a sacred space. It is a sacred hall. So to get ready on the 3D level, I said this is the spiritual hygiene. At the very least, like wash your hands. Okay? And that's, everybody knows you wash your hands to clear yourself from any energetic stuff. You just went to the grocery store, somebody yelling at you, you're yelling at someone on a road bridge. You don't want any of those to go into the library, do you? No. So at least wash your hands. And you're going to be meeting your guides and you're going to ask for advice. Guys, trim the beard, whatever, like put on a clean clothes. Just even when we're teenagers and we rebel against our parents, if we want something, can I get some money to go watch a movie? You want to be nice, right? You don't want to look like a ragamuffin. So put on some clean clothes, okay? I'm talking this mostly, it's like, this is what I do because I come back from a kitchen and I was like, I have half an hour before I read someone, wash my hand, wash my face, put on clean clothes. So then I don't smell like fish. Because I'm gonna meet my guides. It is a reference. It is like, hey, I want to come and meet you because I want you to help me. So at the very least, I can put on clean clothes. Okay. Lipstick not required. So there you go, especially for men, but you do you. Set up for a meditation. However, this meditation means to you. Okay, it's to go within, to go connect with your guides. So if you have an altar, you have a spot, you have a favorite lazy boy chair that you go meditate, you go there. Okay. And then, so for me, I have a little altar at home. So I would light a candle, burn an incense and clear my space. Make sure my dogs, fairies are like leaving the room and whatnot. And I usually would say, I'm asking any lower vibrational beings and energies and stagnant energies to leave this room. So I only invite the highest and brightest energies and frequencies to come to the room. Okay, just sweeping, metaphysically, sweeping my room. And then I go into my meditation, say a little prayer or a mantra, however the vocabulary feels good to you. And I set the intention to go to my Akashic record to work with my guide. Okay. So the first thing I do is to ground my energy cords with Mother Earth and Father Source and clear my auric field and then protect that auric field with however you guys protect yourself. For me, I live in a bubble. So I have a bubble around me. Some of you clairvoyants probably see my bubble. And I set the intention that anything that is good, that is for my highest and greatest good today can filter through that protective bubble. Anything else that doesn't serve my highest or greatest good today will just bounce off. Okay, it eliminates, it filters a bunch of stuff. Okay, I actually was in New York one day and I had my protective bubble and I was getting to get Broadway ticket, I think. And I saw a long line and I just check in and I was just like, okay, let's fortify the bubble. And lo and behold, this Jewish lady in front of me, she was like so anxious about getting ticket and she's just, and I normally would just like walk away. And I'm just like, and I'm like watching myself, I'm like, wow, you're super patient, Ellie. It's like, it doesn't bother me, it's just like bounce off. All right, so once we are in our zone, right, to meditate and connect with the guides. You see, with Akashic records, there's some mantras and prayers that formalize the process. Okay? Most of us, we probably go in and out, flow in, flow out of our Akashic rooms already. We just didn't know. Okay, so whenever you feel something is wrong and then you react in a way that is not mean and not frustrating to you, when you take the high road on the human language, likely you are connecting to your Akashic record and you are just like able to see things from a higher perspective. Okay? I did not know I was in and out of my Akashic record until before I took the training, and the teacher gave us a free reading just to kind of gauge, like, our clairs and whatnot. And it's like, oh, you've been in your Akashic records many, many times. You kind of live in it. And I was just like, okay, I guess, thank you. I didn't know, but I still want to learn, right? So that's how having this opening prayer, having the banishment mantra, having the closing prayer, it kind of gives you a container, because like I said, Akasha is cosmic. So if you're like me, it's easy to get overwhelmed or get lost, right? Oh, swirl, angels, yeah. So it's good to have this like container where you are in this Akashic record room. Okay. So we're going to go through this. I'm going to lead everyone into this, but these are the 3 prayers that is super important for you to practice to get into your Akashic record rooms. The opening prayers, the banishment, and then you do whatever it is you're doing with your guides, and then you do the closing. Okay. Now, if you forget to close your Akashic records, don't freak out. Do not freak out. This place is locked down. Your guides will close it for you. The keepers of the Akashic records, they are, I think they are the powers archangel, the powers angels. So in the choir of angels, they're above the archangels. They don't let anything in there. I mean, this place is maximum security. So yeah, I forgot one time and I freaked out. I was like, I can tell myself I forgot to close my Akashic record room. And it's like, you know, it's okay. And I had to, of course, I had to ask my teacher the next time. He's like, am I okay? Did I leave it open? Like, it's so I'm like, okay, thanks. Let's see. Any questions? No? All right, Susan.
So what is the order? Like, I wanted to take on Mahloy's courses, but I'm not connected to nine. It was suggested you do Reiki first at the time.
No. So Ellen does. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So the question is, she wants to take some classes with Ellen Mahloy, and was wondering if there's any like structure to do it. If you're interested in doing energy healing or energy work, whether it's on yourself or other people, then yes, there's the Reiki with angel modality is what Ellen brings forth on this planet. Then she has the Reiki with angels level 1, which is a video recording. You get lifetime access to it, and then you practice on yourself. You practice on your partner, yeah, or your friends and family. You can do that. And then there's a Reiki with angels level 2, which is also on Think of It. But she also has psychic, beginner psychic development. She also has a video for a course, not just video, of intro to psychic development. And it covers everything that has to do with being psychic, or as many aspects as you could think of about being psychic. So, you know, mediumships, premonitions, out-of-body travel, anything. You guys want to get weird, you can go in there. I like being weird in there too. But this is the crowd. So that is the beginner psychic development or intro to psychic development, self-paced. And then Ellen has about 30 volunteer teacher assistants, so including myself. And so every month she has different topics. So we do beginner psychic development, and people will take it for months, like, you know, many times, for years sometimes. And then we have intermediate psychic development, and then advanced psychic development for people who are ready to do professional reading. But yeah, it's a self-development for you know, learning how to do are you psychic? How does your psychic abilities work in you? So and then you also have different topics as well. Like right now, with the rise of interest in star people and star seeds, we're doing star people class because a couple of the assistants are really connected to that. So we also have fairy realm, which is just nature angels. Sorry, didn't mean to say just nature angels. We do mediumship class. So every month we have a different topic. Yeah. And the way we do it is, even though it's a webinar, we turn off the video, because then we pair you guys up and you don't know that. You don't have this preconceived notion. It's like, oh, he looks like he's 75 years old, so he must be like right around the World War II. He might have some you know, you might have like preconceived notions. So we don't have any of that. So none of the video camera is on, which is kind of scary in the beginning, but it actually works great.
Yeah.
I think you have another question.
Just in regards to past lives in the Akashic records. But the Akashic records basically contains all thoughts and action, and as you said,
Right.
from the beginning of time.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's not just past lives.
Mhm.
And it's also in between past lives,
Yes.
right?
Yes, yes,
It's-
because
it's-
time,
it's-
there's
it's-
really no time.
It's the soul, it's the spirit.
Yes, yes, because the timeline as we think about it, the linear timeline is only on this planet Earth, right? And even those of us who believe in incarnation, you still have to die. I'm sorry, you know, before you get reborn. So it's and then it's like so linear, you know. So, but yeah, in the Akasha, in the whole spirit realm, the time is, you know, everything everywhere all at once, you know, you get sausage fingers and all that. I'm just kidding. You probably haven't seen the movie, but yeah, so it's all like everything is around us. You know. Yeah, so thank you for clarifying that. I do want to just touch on one thing real quick. They give me like write all this down. I'm like, okay. Intuition and intuition, gut feelings, and clairs. Okay. Many of you probably like starting to wonder, am I psychic? Every now and then I feel like I'm psychic, but then I also don't feel like I'm psychic. I don't know. I can't pull rabbit out of my hat. That's magic, not psychic. Potty trick. So intuition is your gut feeling. And we call it gut feeling because it's here. You feel it right here. Okay. And it could be some people feel their intuition in their solar plexus. Some people are more rooted. You might feel it in your root, or you might feel it in your spleen, that fight and flight. Some people might feel it in their sacral, you know. Some people might feel it in their heart chakra. Okay. Follow that. That is your intuition. That's your gut reaction. Okay. Now, the clairs, being psychic or not psychic, it has to do with connecting and working with your clairs. So clairvoyance is psychic seeing, and it could be something that is in your mind screen, or you can actually see with your actual eyes of apparitions or things. So it could be either or both. Okay, clair knowing or claircognizance. I used to think clair knowing, because I have it really strong, I thought it was in my solar plexus. But clair knowing is actually in my mind. It pops as a thought in my mind. And it's so confusing because you're like, I think I just think that up. But over time, I learned that when it's clair knowing, it comes like a package with a bow and everything. And like, you know that is the right thing, but you can't explain. Because that bow, you can't open that box. You just know. Okay. So a lot of people have a hard time with that clair knowing because it's like, I think that's my imagination. But the key is when you get that clair knowing, you don't have any doubt creeping. You don't question that. You just know. Okay. Clairaudience. This is a hearing thing. Some people hear it like a voice outside. Some people hear it in their head. My clair knowing, like I said, I would hear these things, but it's a knowing. It's just I hear and know. Okay. And I know I don't have strong clairaudience because when I talk to dead people or I communicate with someone's spirit guide, I'm like, they always say, what's their name? I'm like, can you tell me your name? And if they are willing to tell me the name or anything, they would put it on a marquee sign because I'm a clairvoyant. It'll be like 600 BC, bling, bling, bling. I'm like, okay, it's 600 BC. Or like they'll say, you know, I don't know, Peter, you know, like his name is Peter. Yeah, but I would not hear it. I have other friends who can hear everything, but they don't see anything. So yeah, so this is just like different clair. Clairsentience is your body senses. Okay, this could be like you feel goosebumps. You know, you feel like, oh, something go down your spine, or like your head tingles. And the clairsentience will, when you feel this, just kind of, I have clairsentience too. You just like let it flow. Okay, you examine it, you just note it, but don't try to like, what does that mean, right? Because the what does that mean is from the external thing. Okay, so say for example, what's your name again? Debbie. Debbie is saying something, and she's lying to me, and I'm like, I got this constriction in my solar plexus, right? And if I'm thinking about it, I was like, oh, what did I eat? I'm feeling like a little, like, did I eat something wrong? But if I let it go over time, I'll learn, oh, somebody is lying to me. She's not telling the truth. So that's the psychic senses. And I also learned I would get brushes, like somebody would brush me. And it started with like, if it's, if it's a truth and I get it, okay, that's a clarity, and that's an affirmation, blah, blah, blah. I got like a nice brush. Like, yeah, no, you did it right, Yeah, what you said, you did connect to your spirit, blah, blah, blah. But then when it's something profound, whether it's profound for me to know that that is really, really true, and really important to the client, or it's profound for the client because they're like, oh, I felt that. I felt the presence of my dad or whatever. I get full body chill. So over time, just like learning how all this body sensation means is a combination of just noticing what it is and then looking at what the external situation is. Okay, because I used to just like, what does that mean? What does that mean? It didn't work. All right, I don't know why they told me to keep talking to you about this. So those are the clairs that are like the most common, and then you also have like the less common psychic senses, psychic clairs, no, I forget. Sorry, like nose, yeah. So smell. Some people can smell things. Taste, clairalience. Sometimes you like, ooh, that like that I taste, fish or something, and when you're reading someone, it's just like, oh, it tastes like fish, and the person's just like, oh yeah, I'm allergic to fish or whatever, So that's a little less common. Another one is also touch. Okay, so it's psychometry. Is that what it is? I'm sorry. Yeah, psychometry. This is when you like touch, you touch my glasses and you're like, oh, Ellie, you got like far sight and you can tell me, no, I'm just kidding. So you touch, someone's ring or a photograph and you could get a sense of the story behind it. So that's touch. And then the other one is telepathy. And telepathy, we think of it as like, walkie-talkie connection. It is kind of like that. And it doesn't really work because it has to be both people have the battery full to be able to do this. But what I learned over time, because I have a couple of friends who are also telepathic, and we would be comparing notes because I'm like, oh, I was just thinking about this. And said, yeah, I thought about you and I went ahead and do it. I'm like, oh, we have telepathic connection. And so we started like, sending notes. And so for us, telepathy is also, to me at least, kind of relate with manifestation as well. So a good example, I was cleaning my porch, November, October, the leaves was falling and I was like cleaning and I was like, it would be nice to have a rocking chair here, but the porch is small. Can't just buy a rocking chair. It has to be customized because it needs, the leg need to be like a little shorter. It doesn't bang into this, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Didn't think much about it. Christmas rolled around and my husband said, oh, the other Christmas present is not here yet, but it's special. I'm like, oh, we can fix it. February, he said, hey, we're gonna have a couple of visitors. My fraternity college friend is coming and that's our Christmas present. I was like, oh, okay. Guess what he got? He got us custom rocking chair. Yeah, custom to his size and the shorter leg. I was like, my husband doesn't really believe in any of this. He's supportive, but I can't tell him, I bought a fast that and I told you to order that. I ordered them. I knew it. So yeah, so that's like just kind of a fun thing about telepathy. And it has also worked for me, like one time, and this is sort of when I realized like, oh, wait a second, I kind of do have this. And I want you guys to also just think beyond this telepathy as fantastical as I'm telling you this, but really also be careful with what you think, right? Again, we're talking about the Akasha and the Akashic record, but what you think, you spread it out. It's imprinted in the Akasha, it's imprinted in your energies, in your radio station. You know, if you do not like country music, don't think about country music, guys. But your radio station will have that country music in there. You know, I'm not saying I don't like country music, but so be careful with this thought that you have. And I think this is also the invitation for every one of us to always try to take the high road, to always try to be on the higher frequency and sending more light and love. I know I sound like, unicorn and puppies, but like operating from the higher frequency is so much more pleasure, right? We have so many issues, and trust me, sometimes I express my French language, but it's just like, oh my God, it's like disconnect and float above and see it from a better perspective. So another telepathy thing that I wanted to tell you. So I had an email, a text from a friend, an acquaintance, and she was having issues. She was having some challenges in life, and I was like kind of giving her a little bit of advice here and there. And then, she then like sent me this really long, like, oh my God, this is what's happening. It's crisis, blah, blah, blah. And I just knew by then, I was just like, this is your homework to do, and I can't be solving this for you because it's involved your family, right? So I just like send it out. Like, okay, here are the 5 things that I can see you can do. Okay. And I would say this every now and then, like maybe for about 5 weeks or so, every week in the meditation, I've just like send it out to universe, send it out to her, right? Whatever her was. And I think it was like almost 3 months later, she emailed me back. She needed some financial help. So I did send her a couple $100. And she emailed me back and she said, oh my gosh, so thank you for your help, because I never heard from her. She didn't even thank me for that. Not that I was expecting, but it's 3D. I was just like, hey girl, at least like I want to acknowledge that you did get this Venmo. She didn't. So like about 3 months later, she texted again and said, hey, just wanting you to know, belated thank you. And also, it's amazing. This happened with my dad. This happened with my sister. And it's the 5 things that I had sent out. And that's when I was like, really? This is really cool, So anyway, so that is one of the clairs. Anybody have questions? We have 10 minutes. Okay, quick.
Can you talk more about, I have 2 questions. Can you talk more about the rewriting and when you do that?
Okay.
And then if you find that Akashic energy is similar to like AI or alien or extraterrestrial?
You have to ask that.
I know.
No, well, kind of. Okay, so you see on the smaller column are some of the prayers or mantra that you use in the Akashic record. So once you open the record, you're gonna do this banishment. You essentially want to clear anything that don't belong there, because sometimes there's like, a dead person that wanted to be crossed over. And that's kind of like, I'm a magnet for that. So I'm like, hey, no, you get out. I'll come back to you and I'll do, I'll help you afterwards. And then ask your guide to come forward to help you with whatever questions, whatever situation that's challenging to you, whatever healing that you want to be done. The caveat is if it's not ready to be healed, then usually you will be getting like something that's not very clear, and then you have to do your own step by step. You have to be, you actually will have to send that apology to your nephew or your cousin or whatever. And whenever you ask and you being shown, say, for example, okay, you need to forgive, this is a real example, I need to forgive my oldest brother that annoyed the heck out of me for a while. Then I would say the prayer of forgiveness. I forgive and release anyone that I have hurt or hurt me consciously and unconsciously. So those are like the different prayers to do in the Akashic record, okay? I forgot your question. The rewrite. So the rewrite part is a kind of a caveat. So I did not know this, but there are Akashic Records readers, which you all, with your practice, you're going to be able to do as a reader. And you work with your spirit guides to do the healing, okay? There is Ellen, without Ellen, I would not know there's an Akashic Records master. So the master is the one who can actually rewrite after we do a healing. I'm one of the masters. I can go back with Archangel Raziel and do the rewrite. So if there was a traumatic event that happened to you, you were a witch and you were killed in 1500, I can go back to that and do a rewrite. So we change the record. So I put it right there. So if you have a very a deep healing, you can request to the keepers of the Akashic record for a rewrite. Okay? And trust that it's going to be done for your highest and best. Okay? AI, ET, blah, blah. So Akashic record, now we know with all the starseeds and stuff, there are galactic Akashic records. Yeah, yes. By the way, I'm teaching that in September in Ellen's class. But we all, I got Jillian, dang, I'm going to go into that galactic Akashic record. Yes. So yes, actually you can open Akashic record for your own self, or we can open an Akashic record for this neighborhood to get to know the land beings here and the history of it. You can open a Akashic record of your business and career, relationship if it's romantic, a relationship because it's two people. The caveat is that you only in control or you only allowed to view your side. Unless my spouse tell me specifically that I can open his Akashic record, my ethic would say no. You know, I'm only perceiving the relationship and the problem I have with my spouse through what I can do, through my records. Does that make sense? I might get a sense, oh, my husband needs to do his own past life healing. But I would not just go in there and just like, oh, show me, tell me how bad he was, you know, because that's not, I don't have this permission. Okay. Answer the questions. All right. How much time we have? Okay, 5 minutes. You guys ready? So we're gonna go do this. So when I open, what I want you to do is that I want you to feel your Akashic record group. Okay. When you get to your Akashic record, you may see a library, you may see a cozy reading corner, you may see a Barnes and Noble, you may see a great hall of library. However it is, you will be shown something has to do with library or book or something. When you get in there, and I'm gonna ask one or two of your spirit guides to come meet you there. But rather than trying to figure out what you need to do right now, I want you to just look around your Akashic record and see what's in there. So then next time when you go on your own meditation, you kind of know, like, oh, this is my Akashic record. Okay? And I'm just putting caveat out there, my Akashic record room, and my teacher told me this, hers too, is inky black. So, but I know I was standing in something solid. So if any one of you just like, I don't get anything, right? Because my Akashic record room is black. Inky black, but I can sense the borders, I can sense everything. Because I just tap into whatever the cosmic Akashic record. So if one of you gets there and you're like, I don't think I get it, but you kind of feel like, no, there's like presence here, you know, there's this solidness of this room. Trust it that you get to your Akashic record. Okay. Okay. Let's everyone just take 2 deep breaths and connect to your heart chakra. And when I said on the opening prayer, your name, you're just gonna say your name out loud or just in your mind. Okay, so that you ask to get into your own record, and everybody, by the way, is like in their own little bubble. So, all right. Just continue to breathe and connect to your heart chakra. Just breathe normally. Keepers of the Akashic records, please open the records of your name and all other names used in this lifetime. Please create a sacred space for each individual's highest good and healing. The records are now open. The records are now open.
The records are now open. Just feel how you feel. On the inviting each and individual's spirit guide who would like to come forward. If you have a message, please go ahead and tell the person. And we're just gonna say thank you to our guides. Just one more time, look around your Akashic record room. Next time you do this meditation, you will come back and you'll get more information for your own healing. Keepers of the Akashic records and spirit guides, thank you for this opportunity to come and connect with you and get to our Akashic record rooms. The records are now closed. The records are now closed. The records are now closed.
Okay. Does anyone want to share what they feel, what they sense? You don't have to. I know it's a lot of people, it's just like, I think I met my magic bunny. Good.
Mine was very simple.
Yeah,
You will be okay.
very nice. Yeah. Dan?
I just got a quick visual of me with the spirit on a horse.
Oh, wow. Cool. Cool, yeah. It's playful.
It's like file cabinets. And I saw my different names and I go to buy it half those size in this lifetime. And I didn't get anything until the very end, just said next time.
Next time, yeah. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And again, if you don't feel anything in this exercise, it's okay. It's a lot of people here. You know, we're like, oh, I don't know. And it's okay, but I do encourage you to, you know, at least once a week in your meditation, just like try it, try it. Any questions before we wrap things up? Any comments?
One question.
Sure.
Probably not really related, but I'm curious. So traditionally, the Akashic records, we like to see them in book form. How has technology changed the way that those records, like, if I wanted to visualize an iPad or some type
You
of
can.
digital, like, drive that I like plug in, I can just make it however I want it?
You actually not making it however you want. It's just, that's what you're comfortable with. That's
Okay.
what you perceive as your record.
Okay.
Yeah, so then you just see it that way.